this set, this is modeled after Northumbrian half-longs, that they call it in the literature Scottish border pipes. And Scots had a lot of different pipes on the border. They had small pipes, they had these, a version of these where there were two Chanter A's, or another one version is a high baritone E, which I don't happen to like. I like bass, baritone, and tenor, and if I want to play in the key of D, I just silence the baritone drone, so it's not a big deal to play in the key of D. Now, the other position you could play it in is like this, over your shoulder. So let's do that. Now let's look at the interior. The chanter is a narrow conical chanter, and the drones actually fit in here like the pastoral and new bagpipe. Try not to dangle that on the ground. The idea being you can get at the reeds really easy, and this is a set of easy drone reeds that are made specifically for this border pipe. So you don't have to worry about getting new reeds. They're pretty much for the rest of your life. They're lifetime reeds. Now, they also have a setup which you'd have to buy a different bag and a bellows, and you could play this as a bellows pipe. And that's a lot of fun. And in fact, the very first time I got a set of half-longs was September 1973. Colin Ross in Newcastle, actually Whitley Bay, just north of Newcastle on Tyne, sold me a set for 65 pounds. And it had been made for the Northumbrian Boy Scouts back in 1925 by Robertson of Edinburgh. Well, when Piper's Choice did this configuration, I influenced them by saying that you should possibly make it bass, baritone, tenor. So I had something to do with this configuration. And they had a chanter up in Canada that they modeled after, not the one that I had, but that's okay. It's still a narrow bore chanter. It's only half as loud, and it plays in A440, so you can play with guitars, fiddles, piano, although the piano being equal temperament. One of the things about pianos is if they're equal temperament, they're equally out of tune. And that's because you have to play in all 12 keys chromatically. So the fifths and the fourths are flat, and the thirds are sharp, and so on. Most of the people that do barbershop quartet, for instance, don't work with the piano because it brings about a sense of beating that if you're going to hang on to a note, the piano, when they tune it, they hit the two notes, and they get a beat comes in, a slow waver comes in after about 5 seconds, and that's piano tuning. So Kyle Gann, the microtonal composer, says the reason why we're so jumpy is because we have music that's constantly beating, and that's with equal temperament. Well, with the bagpipe, you've got this permanent drone which you can reference to, so you have the ability to make each note, if you tape it right and everything, to actually be in tune against the drones. So it's a very sweet scale that you can't get with equal temperament. All right, so now let me show you some of the other things that this has is the options. Okay, now it turns out that I rewrapped a Dunbar practice chanter, which is also in the key of A, and I'm using reeds from Abbott Reeds in Ohio. There's also Shepherd practice chanter reeds. That they're square reeds, which are very interesting. That it's essentially like the reeds that you have in the Northumbrian small pipe. They also, Piper's Choice also makes the modified chanter reeds for the border pipe, and that is actually just the same dimension as the pipe, the reeds in the Highland pipe proper. And I have a Highland pipe here as a reference so you can see the difference. There's another pipe I'm going to get out in a minute, but in order to fit the chanter stock, so you take the chanter out. There's the chanter, and this is the practice chanter, and we plug it in. I had to wrap more on the tenon, and we plug this in, and now we can play as a Scottish small pipe. Let me see here. I've got to take that off so you can see what I'm doing. Oh yeah, there we go. There's my little mark so I can see that it's so. Now this is the same drones and everything, but now it's a different sound because the chanter is a practice chanter in A440 by Dunbar in Canada. So I don't know why Piper's Choice hasn't discovered this yet, but here it is. It's the option to make this border pipe into a Scottish small pipe. I actually really prefer this configuration, but again, you have both. You have the conical chanter that's in the same octave, more or less, as the Highland pipe, and then you have this, which is an octave lower. And if you have another Scottish small pipe or whatever, it sounds really good when you double up the one chanter with the conical bore and the reed, and then this in the low octave, and you play in octaves. It's a very nice sound, and I think there's a number of recordings with that going on. Anyway, I'm going to show you another pipe that's exactly the same as this, except it's got the drones splayed out, and I'll get to that in the next video. Thank you.